Hello anybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. I am Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the last episode we started Clanker's Cavern and cleared out everything outside of Clanker. And in today's episode, we are going to fulfill the prophecy and help Clanker with his sore teeth. And the only way we can do that is by knocking his gold teeth in with eggs. This somehow helps, and I'm not sure how.
Too late, this side gone. Clanker's walked away.
And now we're just going to get the other side so that is completely fixed. Now you do want to get both sides before you actually go into his tooth. He says swallowed reward, so obviously that means you're going to have to go into the hole in his mouth. And he's like,
His tooth not hurt now. Teeth all better now. Thank you, man.
So even though he's a giant, terrifying thing, he is your friend, and I appreciate that. So you actually want to walk very carefully inside of Clanker's mouth so you don't fall down there, because you want to actually just get out, go to the other side, and go in the other mouth hole, in the other tooth hole, rather, and get your 6th Jiggy. So we're already starting this video fairly quickly, and we have got the 6th Jiggy with only 4 left. And now we are inside of Clanker. This area kind of adds to the mystery of what Clanker is supposed to be, if he's machine or animal or what. I mean, this suggests that he's some kind of mixture of both, with all the fleshiness and all the mechanical parts. And I really like the music that's actually in here, as well as Clanker's Cavern. I think that Clanker's Cavern has an underrated track, but then it's kind of hard for it to stand out when all of the music in this game is so good. I can't name a bad track in this game. And here we have the terrifying music again, with these weird fleshy growths that I think are called whiplash or something. I think they're called whiplash. Either way, you don't want to get hit by them and you want to keep out of the freaky water, and here we come to the belly of Clanker, which is absolutely disgusting. If this game came out a little later than it did, maybe it would have gotten an E10 plus instead of an E, just a flat E, because this is gross. I mean, you could also argue that there was Jabu Jabu's belly on Ocarina of Time, and that was also E rating, but again, that was before E10, and I think that would... This is probably what this would get, because this is genuinely terrifying, and I never actually found this place when I was younger. I never figured out to go inside of Clanker when I first played this game, so I never really properly finished Clanker's Cavern, and as a result, I had a hard time finishing the game. Because, spoilers, you actually need a lot of the Jiggies in order to finish this game. Now that we've done those, weird things, we filled Clanker's belly with water. Poor guy, he didn't want that, and that will allow us, once it gets up higher, to not quite get that. I'm kind of forgetting how to get up there, but well, I'm sure we'll get over there, no problem, in due time. As you can see, there's a flight pad over there, but we can't quite get in there. There are multiple ways inside of Clanker, and that's how we're going to get over there and get a few other things in this area. But for now, we're going to come to the sides, and he ate this honey, but now it's ours. And we're going to go back down into here, because there's Jinjo down here. This poor Jinjo. I do not envy him. And there's still an orange Jinjo left. I don't quite recall where he is. Now, if we've come out this side, we're actually going to pop out that side of Clanker, and we're going to be going on over to the other side of his gills, where we will go out the other side. Actually, we are not going to do that. We're going to go in an entirely different way this time. We're going to be going in through the blowhole. Now, it's actually really clever that you can go inside of Clanker. Although, hey, we got the witch switch. And what'll that do? It'll pop Grunty's eyes open like that. That's kind of gross. And running through here, we'll have a little saw blade section, because if you remember, Clanker is a trash compactor, and that is his purpose, and you will get cut by those most likely when near the end, but that's okay. You can easily tank the damage. And yeah, where was I even? And that'll drop us out here, and now we can fly around inside of Clanker's stomach, and they immediately put you in the path of a whiplash. One of the nice things about Banjo-Kazooie is even in worlds where there isn't strictly really even any flying, you can still there's still sections in those levels where there is a little bit of flight, for most of the levels anyway, so that's cool. Now here we have a terrifying section, and here we have the most weirdly placed molehill in the game. How did bottles get in here? I have no idea. And furthermore, he wasn't kidding about this being well hidden. You can go the whole game and not find this. It is not necessary to beat the game, and I beat the game my first time without knowing this move, but anyway, I'll delay long enough and show you what it is. This move uses Biko's wings as a shield against the bad guys. Cool. Does it make me invulnerable? Sure does. Hold the right or left trigger and push the right stick right. Keep the right or left trigger held and use the left stick to move around. Use it wisely though, as this move requires gold feathers, and you can only carry 10 of them. Here, take these 5 valuable gold feathers. And that caps us off. Your energy's a little low. I'll fill it up. You've learned all my new moves for this world. The rest is up to you. So now we have the Wonder Guard, I think that's what it was called, which as you can see makes Kazooie and Banjo invincible. And you can just run through here and get this thing right here. This is a really cool move because it's extremely versatile and useful throughout the game, but it never quite feels overpowered. In fact, most of the time I forget I even have it and don't really use it. But here we are now using it. You can actually run through there without using the Wonder Shield, but you're going to take a lot of damage on the way. If this was, I'm not going to make a Banjo-Tooie comparison. And we're going to get that Jiggy that we forgot on the way out almost, but there we go. And I think that means that we are about done with, almost done with Clanker's Cavern. We've cleared out his insides, we just need to find that orange Jinjo. And also get the rest of these notes. I think we almost have all of them in any case. Just trying to remember where that orange Jinjo is. I'm pretty sure he's... no bottles! I'm not listening to you. So I'm going to find... Actually, I remember exactly where that Jinjo is. He's near where one of the honeycomb pieces is. He is up there. And for that, we're going to want to come back over this way, where this life has respawned, only because I accidentally turned the game off between recordings. Usually I do these in pairs, and I'm not going to get too meta about the LP thing, but usually I record these in pairs because it's easier to just do both worlds in one go. Or like, do an entire world, 2 episodes in one recording. And with that, we're going to jump down here and get our last Jinjo and our last Jiggy for the world. I like how the camera pans down when you're like inside of something, and that kind of ruins our dance a little bit. But that's okay. And with that, we have totally cleared out Clanker's Cavern. Not really a hard world. I think it gets more crap than it deserves, or at least... I can understand the feeling that it is not the best world in the game, and that is in fact the least favorite world in the game, but I enjoy Clanker's Cavern more than I like Mumbo's Mountain, so it's second least favorite for me. So there's that at least. I think the industrial feel is fine, because as I said, Rareware usually does industrial well, and this was before it was oversaturated with greens and browns, or grays and browns and grossness, and they do it well here, I think. Especially when the idea was that it's supposed to be unappealing. Like, it's gritty, but I don't know. I think it works here just fine, and well, this isn't even really the best example of an industrial level in this game, and we'll see that much later as we go on. And actually, the level that I'm thinking of is possibly my favorite in the game, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there. And of course, we just peck those Champas on our way out, and I think we've got basically everything, so we can leave this world with all of our fears behind. Now, we still have plenty of time left, actually, on the recording, or I could just make this a really short one, but I'm not going to do that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start setting up to go to the next world. First, you want to hit this button, and that'll raise that platform. Now, as we leave Clanker's Cavern, we do finish off what I call, like, the first set of 3 worlds, where the 3 worlds are, like, the easy worlds, the short worlds of the game. And after this, they'll get a fair bit longer, I think, at least with the 4th world, I think. And hey, we're gonna learn some secrets about Gruntilda. Grunty wears a flea circus under that repulsive dress of hers. She's also got this nasty pet dog whose name is Leg Chomper. My sister sings in her own band, Grunty and the Broomstick Boys. They're awful. And that's a bunch of secrets that we'll need to know for later, maybe. We'll see. Now coming over here, we will open up this grating, and this is actually necessary for opening up the next world. Usually, they will kind of transition the worlds together in that you'll need something from the world you just did, or they'll put, like, the portrait for the next area in the vicinity of the world you just beat or so, and they get a little mixed up, or they spread them out a little more in the next set of worlds, but oh well. And here we have some swampy music, and how fitting, because we are filling in a portrait for a place called Bubble Gloop Swamp. Okay, let's just punch them both in. That is a big crocodile head. So as you can see, we're going to be going from a sewer to a swamp level, and that's pretty peculiar because those are both pretty gross archetypes in terms of level design, but, well, I think once we get to the 5th world, it'll break away from those enough that, I mean, Bubble Gloop Swamp, before we get there, I'm just going to say, it's different enough from Clanker's Cavern that it's not oversaturation of gross themes. I wouldn't even say Bubble Gloop Swamp is all that nasty for a swamp level, but, well, you'll be the judge of that. And with that, we're done with Clanker's Cavern. We are just done with that area. Many tricks are up my sleeve. To save yourself, you'd better leave. And we have 300 notes to get through here. As I said before, you don't even have to go through Clanker's Cavern to get through that note door. You just need to get 180 notes from the first 2 worlds. And we come to a new area in the game, greeted by a giant statue of Grunty taunting us with a Jiggy. I just remembered I have to go back downstairs. Because if you remember, we hit a witch switch inside of Clanker's Cavern, and that popped these eyes up. And all you really need to do is just hit these buttons. I totally hit that. Excuse me. There we go. And that'll make a Jiggy appear. That is probably the most complex witch switch Jiggy in the game. Well, no. Well, no. I think the next one is pretty good. No, in fact, that wasn't the most complex. I just say that because some of the witch switch Jiggies just drop a Jiggy somewhere, and it's not really anything at all. But whatever. Whatever. I think some of them could do to be more creative, but that's just my opinion. So this starts the next section of worlds in the game. This is what I would call like the medium section of the game. This is where the game starts to get hard, is what I would say if I was just in my early starting of LPs, but really this is where the challenge starts to amp up, I think, a fair amount. And we're not gonna talk to her right now for secrets. Okay, fine.
My fat old sister's favorite sport is broomstick racing. Although she's dim, she attended St. Dongball School. You won't believe that Gruntilda's party trick is eating a bucket of beans.
There's a lot of bean-related stuff with Gruntilda. Ugh. I mean, beans taste good, but that's just gross. And here we have some boots.
Hey, keep your feet out.
You can't use us until you've spoken to Bottles. I've spoken to Bottles several times more than I would like to, but can't use them yet. If you guess, you're probably going to be using boots in a swamp. I mean, that just makes sense. We're going to run around this outside area just to check if there's anything back here. Just this guy, who you can actually jump off of to get up here, and that accomplishes absolutely nothing. There's nothing hitting up here. I just wasted all of our time, but that is just fine, because I think this is where I'm going to end off the episode. I know it was a really short one, but that's just as well, because in the next episode, we are going to be starting off a new world, Bubble Gloop Swamp. I hope to see somebody then. Bye-bye.